Good morning, everybody. I hope you're well. Welcome to the Recruiting Gym's daily stand-up. We've had a fantastic week. Over the last week, we've had 234 people attend the morning stand-up. Today, I've got our health, well-being, mental health and stress management coach, Claire Davis, with us.
Hello, everyone.
We're talking about the long haul. Like the last couple of weeks I'm not sure about you, but I'm starting to flag a little bit. Like the last couple of weeks, I've been running on sort of really driving it, pushing it, and now the reality of the long slog is coming in. So the reason we've got Claire on today is we're going to be talking about how do we sort of get our heads sorted for the long term and the long haul. So Claire, you were going to start us off with a quote.
I am, and this is a quote by author and attorney called Elizabeth Edwards, and I love this quote, especially in this time when we've all had our lives turned upside down. And the quote is, "She stood in the storm, and when the wind did not blow away, she adjusted her sails." And as we know, the wind isn't blowing away. COVID's not going away.
So yeah, we'd love for it to go away. We'd love for it to go away. So when we talk about adjusting our sails, why is it important that when we're faced with a long challenge or a sustained challenge, why is it important that we adjust our sails and adjust our expectations?
It's so important, Alex, and the reason is we have got through week one. We've got through week one. I've got through the fact that two of my kids, I'm homeschooling them at home. The other two kids are teenagers and they're wanting to sloth around, but I'm trying to motivate them. So if we can get through week one, we've got to keep refocusing our mindset every day, every week. It's all about mindset. So let's look forward and not just feel how exhausted we all are, because we're all exhausted. And it is a long haul. We don't know how long. We don't know how long yet. We've got to get our mindset right.
Right. Okay. And so what are some of the things you think recruiters, which aspects of a recruiter's mindset do you think they need to adjust for the long haul?
So for the long haul, a mindset is all about what we're thinking. And what we're thinking, if we get up in the morning, we think, another day, what are the negatives we're going to hear about COVID? What's happening in the news? What's happening with my business? If it's all negative, then what's going to happen is it's going to affect what we're saying and what we're doing and how we are towards the people around us. And we've got to think about, what do we wake up in the morning and think? How are we thinking, and how are we going to adjust our thoughts? Because whatever we're thinking will reflect on what we're saying and what we're doing.
Right. And I guess one of the key areas for me is redefining what a good day looks like. As everyone knows, I've got building work going on, and I've got kids at home, like many other people as well. And I'm trying to sort of just get to the end of the day and think, did I do anything proactive today? Do I feel like I've moved a step forward, even though a few weeks ago that would be considered a failure? I'm trying to recognize that success.
Yeah. And I understand that. And at the end of every day, what I'm doing is thinking about and recognizing what's gone well in the day. Let's forget about what's gone badly. Just don't even think about it. Let's think about what's gone well. And something that I've been doing over many years actually is writing a gratitude diary. What am I grateful for? Now, I'm going to tell you a story. At the beginning of the week, I had enough of my teenagers and I just didn't even want to see them. So every night now I'm writing what they've done that's been absolutely brilliant, even if it's just smile once. Let's look at the good things and get rid of the bad things, change our mindset.
Yeah, I'm not always very good at recognizing those little victories. And I know a few teams are having, and while we're doing a startup today, they're trying to, at the end of the day, have a stand up to sort of just recognize some of those little wins that they might have had.
And it's great to do it at the beginning of the day as well. What are we grateful for? One thing I'm so grateful for is that the sun's been shining. If this had happened in November and we had the winter that we had, it would have been bedlam. So let's get up and be grateful for the sun shining, do a bit of meditation or exercise. So it's at the beginning of the day, like we're doing, which is great. And at the end of the day, we've got to go to sleep feeling positive and getting rid of all those negative thoughts.
Yeah, no, indeed. And And so I think hopefully that's helped everybody just start getting their head around for their mindset. The next topic I want to talk about is loneliness. And whilst I'm with my family, I'm missing people. I'm missing spending time with my team physically. So what advice would you have for people that are feeling a bit lonely?
Loneliness is one of the biggest causes of depression, actually, and we have to be very, very careful. And that people contact, I'm finding it even weird. I went for a run the other day, and it's crossing the road and not being near people. It's very, very strange feeling. And so loneliness is a big thing. And I mentioned it the other day to you on one of the webinars that loneliness has the same detriment on our health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So what we need to do is think of, what is loneliness for me? So for you, Alex, you've just mentioned missing your team. So loneliness for me is also missing my girlfriends, missing those coffees. So what can we do to actually bring that into our lives? So I've had, every night this week, I've had a Zoom with a different group of girlfriends. So actually seeing them, having a laugh, having a glass of wine while we're having the Zoom. So what can we do so that we're not feeling lonely? Because even if I've got 4 kids and my husband, we're all here, there are 6 of us here, and you know, some places are saying don't be in an area with more than 4 people, so that's a bit weird having 6. But you know, what can we do to bring other people in? We need to bring in our social networks.
Right. Okay. And so and how have your friends responded to sort of group Zoom calls? They don't feel like they're being forced onto another work webinar.
They're loving it. Absolutely loving it. Last night, there were a group of us, my book club, and there were 12, 14 of us, and all our pictures were up. We're taking photos of all of our pictures up. We all had a glass of wine. We're chatting about anything but the book because, believe me, it was the most boring book ever. So we didn't even talk about the book, and it was just a chance to catch up with each other and talk about what we're going through. We're all going through a lot. And to build our resilience in the long haul, we can't forget about people. We've got to bring people back into our lives. So, it didn't feel like work. Half of them hadn't even done Zoom before. They hadn't even heard of Zoom. So it definitely wasn't working.
Well, 50 minutes of your 1 hour call was spent getting everyone online, I bet. And
it was interesting. It was interesting. And what button do I click? So, what button do I click here, Claire? How do I do this? So we were on for about 2.5 hours. That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Fantastic. And I think it's part of the transition is moving video calls from being a work context to just almost having it open and just chatting and listening. And it'll be a new skill. We're going to try and do that on Saturday night with some of our friends, is have a sort of a group. And the great thing about Zoom is that the mobile app is brilliant. Like it's really robust.
I'm not trying that. I'm not into those on my phone, but it's brilliant. So we've got a couple of comments, Alex. Catherine has said, I really love this. And if yesterday didn't go well, today is still brand new and full of potential. It's resetting again. It's actually like resetting. You know how we have to press the refresh button on our computer? It's resetting our brain, having a good sleep so we can reset our brain. So lovely. Thank you very much, Catherine. And Corona Buddies. Yeah, I've got a lot of Corona Buddies as well, which is quite funny. So we've got all different Corona WhatsApp groups going on. But it is a great one to have. Your buddies. We need to talk to each other. Definitely.
Indeed. And the last thing we've got to go through, Claire, is that I think I've seen a few people sort of commenting that their LinkedIn feed is looking a lot more empty. And I think one of the reasons is that most recruiters, 99% of their mind is on LinkedIn is focused. I'm recruiting for this. Are you interested in a job? And I think a lot of recruiters are struggling to know what to post on LinkedIn. Now they can't talk about recruitment.
Yeah.
So what would your advice be to recruiters looking to engage their network?
It's just talking to people. LinkedIn should be about just selling to people, and recruitment, it should be about building those relationships. So let's talk to people. Let's let people know about what we've been doing to build relationships and have connections, and ask people questions, see how people are feeling, see what problems people are having. So LinkedIn could be posts about, I've put on posts on my social media about the fact that I'm doing the Joe Wicks workouts. I mentioned it the other day. And, another good one, I want all of you to watch it, is Joan Wicks. If you haven't seen Joe's sister, Joan Wicks, on YouTube, look her up. She's quite funny.
Very good. Is that Joe in drag?
No, it's a female dressed up as a male, Joe. So it's a female who is Joan, and she's got all the beard and everything. She's got all the beard.
Fantastic. We'll look at that. So I guess one of the things is that what I'm noticing in LinkedIn is that it's becoming a bit more like Facebook, and people are more willing to share something of themselves on there. And my advice to recruiters is, don't think about recruitment. Think about the problems you're having or your company's having and what you're doing to overcome those. And imagine that your clients are having those. So anything that you've got with is enabling you to share a strategy, a technique, or actually ask them for a solution. It could be, I'm feeling a bit lonely, I'm this human being. What's your advice? What I've noticed on LinkedIn is it's a very supportive place, much more supportive place than you'd give a work social network credit for.
And, we've got to think of everybody's mental health. And Gareth put a comment here about when he was in Australia and connecting with people at home and the calls that we mentioned. It's all about that emotional connection. And I think we've got to adapt our LinkedIn to be more of an emotional connection, because these are emotional changes. And a lot of people in life haven't been through these sorts of emotional changes, so haven't built their resilience. So helping other people build their resilience for these emotional changes.
What I've heard is that a lot of recruiters are finding it very easy to get their existing clients on Zoom calls for just a chat. They're having deeper conversations, they're sharing more about themselves and their families as well as work. And so I'd encourage all recruiters to this is the time. This is the time for the Zoom meeting, because people are thirsty for human contact, because sitting in your bedsit is lonely.
And, I call it a how are you call. Just ringing up and saying, we're all in this together. How are you? How are you going? Reaching out to people, and that's going to be building our relationships with them. Yeah. And if we build those relationships, you'll see the benefits.
And Claire, I hear you. Claire, I hear you're running a workshop next week, a paid workshop next week on people managing their mental health when they're working alone. Tell us a little more about that.
So what I've noticed is that people are working at home, working alone, and not really thinking about their mental health. So in this workshop, it's very, very practical. It's managing your mental health in high stress situations. So it's looking at strategies of what people can do to really look at their mental health and what works for them, because what might work for you may not work for me. So what specifically works for them? It's very reasonable. It's only £36, including VAT and booking fee, and the Crowdcast. There's a Crowdcast link so that you can book on it and pay for it all on Crowdcast. And then I'll send you all the links.
Great. Well, I know that'll be.
I'd love to see you there.
For those teams.
Yeah, it's on Wednesday at 2:00. Wednesday at
2:00. Fantastic. So I'm really conscious of time. We want everyone to get to work for 9:15. It's been a great week. I'm feeling like a new normal is beginning to settle. I'm excited about next week. I'm getting ready for the long haul, and hopefully we all are too. But we're all hopefully still alive and healthy. Touch wood. I don't know anyone that's been hospitalized as a result of the coronavirus, and that's a really fortunate thing. I hope it's the same for all the listeners too. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you very much, Claire.
Thank you very much, Alex. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Bye.
See you soon. Bye.
Take care. Bye.